What do these look like to you? And these, and these, and these, and these, and these too. Oh, and let's not forget the statue of Elvis. What do they look like? They look like wings, right? They look like they could be angels' wings, in fact. Don't you think? I mean, when you really think about it, it literally just looks like he's an angel with wings. And yeah, you could say it's a cape, but most capes I see come down all the way. These are spread out like angels' wings. Well, have you ever seen me talk about this statue found in a 2,000-year-old tomb that has wings as well? And hey, that face kind of looks familiar, doesn't it? Even down to those sideburns. I mean, when you really look at it, it looks like Elvis with his wings. And I'm not kidding. Look, the hypogeum of the voluminous family dating back from the 3rd century BC. This was unearthed recently. And here's that statue, that angel statue with a very familiar face and sideburns. And I found that interesting, especially in light of this picture that a friend of mine sent me with this face and these angel wings put right into the side of this very old building. You see, those are angels' wings, right? Why don't we take a closer look at that face? I mean, if that doesn't look like Elvis, again, down to the sideburns and that very well-known hair, why would Elvis with wings be in the side of this building? And why would the original Statue of Liberty face look just like Elvis? And this ancient Babylonian king statue look an awful lot like Elvis. And again, this Roman statue with its nose a little chopped off, but if it had its longer nose, you would see again down to the sideburns and foof. It looks a lot like Elvis. Well, have you ever heard the Bible verse talking about don't neglect to show hospitality to strangers, for by doing so, some people have entertained angels without knowing it. Basically what it's saying is angels can take on human form, where you could be in their presence and you wouldn't even know. And have you ever looked at what angels' names end with? EL, 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 Abaddon, EL, EL, EL. But Elvis couldn't be an angel, especially not a fallen one. Angels don't exist. Well, have you ever heard this story from Elvis's friend?
He said, let's go outside. So we went out there, and we're talking and everything, and he's just being quiet. And all of a sudden he says, son, you see that light over there? And I look over and see a light off over in the distance. I said, well, yeah. I said, plane. He said, I said, oh, okay. But light's coming closer and closer and closer. I'm waiting for the sound of a prop or a helicopter or a jet engine. I'm waiting for some sort of sound and say, no, Elvis, it's a plane. There is no sound. And it's getting closer and closer, and there's a tree line there around the golf course, and it just kind of went and disappeared behind the trees there, and I still am not hearing a sound. He says, go in there and get Jerry. So I went in the house and got Jerry, and we come back, Elvis not there. We start calling for him. He's not answering. Jerry said, where'd he go? I said, I don't know. And I told you, I said, there was a light he wanted you to see that was coming from across the sky that went over in here and everything. I said, you go up one side of the house and I'll go up the other and we'll go out and see if he's out front. Went out there, he wasn't out there. Now, folks, I got to tell you, I'm young at that time. I'm about 26 years old. I'm starting to think, what is going on here? Because Elvis had acted weird sometimes, you know, moving, making bushes quiver and move and clouds form and dissipate. You know?
Did he say Elvis could make clouds move and dissipate? That's funny because you know what the Bible talks about? Angels sometimes associated with the ability to influence or manipulate weather phenomena, including clouds. But back to the story about this normal human being.
So we're hollering out there, and all of a sudden, I hear this voice. I'm down here, guys. And we look down. He's about 3 houses down in the driveway. So we hurry down there to him and everything. What are you doing? What are you doing down here? He said, oh, nothing. He said, that light, they're gone. I said, who's gone? He said, they're gone, but they'll be back. And I said, okay, I'd like to meet them, Elvis. You will. And he was serious. He said, you will. We went back up to the house. I talked with Jerry. I said, Jerry, I don't know what he's talking about. It was like, he said, well, son, it was a plane. I said, Jerry, I got to tell you, there was no sound. There was no engine. There was no noise. I was in the Air Force. I know what airplanes sound like, and there was no sound. I don't know what it was. Could have been a dead stick plane, engine dead or something, but it came a long way with no engine. But that we didn't talk about it anymore, and he didn't bring it up. I never asked him, did they come back yet over the years?
You still think humans come up with technology, and it's not all just fallen angel technology slowly dripping back to us? That's cute. You know what, though? 2 years ago, I would have thought this was absolute rubbish. That was when I thought I lived on a spinning ball and evolved from a chimpanzee. But now I know we live in a spiritual realm, and angels and fallen angels are very real. And hey, I couldn't help but notice this little hand symbol Elvis used to do before performances. Kind of reminds me of someone else, but I can't quite place it. Maybe it will come to me if I keep thinking about it long and hard. If I were a fallen angel and I wanted all the people to worship me instead of the Heavenly Father, why not do it twice under two totally different personas? But of course, all this for entertainment purposes. I'm sure that these dots right here on both of them, just a coincidence, and I'm a satire count. And these aren't wings rubbing it in your face with the truth right in plain sight. No, it's just fun, decorative, for funsies cape. Entertainment only, people.